Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I must say, speaking after a great scientist is quite a challenge. And the only comfort I can take that once I was responsible of recruiting Chris Murray to something, and that was at the World Health Organization, where he made a tremendous difference at bringing evidence to the center of decision making. And I think this is about what we are trying to do at EAT as well. Last year at this podium, I said I came to EAT out of frustration. Frustration about the lack of operational linkages between important policy areas, my experience as a minister and as a politician. Also, a frustration about the persisting silos in politics. Silos that tie us down, limit our action, and cloud our perspectives. And then at that moment, I called for what I call Politics 2.0, inspired by this. Now it's called 6.0. So what happens when it goes from a digit to another? Well, experts tell us that the functionings are upgraded so that we can integrate and advance performance. Now, we need to do the same with political resolve to deal with the food systems that Chris just described. It's not going to happen just by itself. And to me, this is why EAT was set up, to integrate perspectives across silos, bringing together key players from separate sectors, creating new and advanced knowledge platforms to trigger action, paving the way for better action that will change our food production system, limit the emissions, of course, and the ecological footprint, improving the health as a result of what we eat and how we produce what we eat, and as a consequence, create new business opportunities. So this year, I come to EAT out of excitement. Not because we have reached all of these objectives, not because the job is done or even half done, but because we manifestly are underway. And because Gunhild Stordalen has shown us how determination, commitment, and aspiration can overcome the starkest of diagnoses. And because the research is lining up, creating evidence for how integrated action can lead to very impressive results. All of this is crucial because we will need change in all the sectors by all the players. Now, I come from the world of politics in a European country, my home country, Norway. We too must mobilize for far more tangible action. And I will use my limited time to point out 3 areas which I believe also come back to the issue of food systems. First, with the rest of Europe, Norway has committed to cut emissions by 40% by 2030 as a part of committing to Paris. Now, such reductions will involve industry. They will have fewer and more expensive quotas. They know how to deal with this quota trading system. In addition, and this is the point, the commitment will now require tangible reductions from other identified sectors, such as traffic, but leave that aside, and let's go to agriculture and food production. It's going to be kind of legally binding. So here is both an urgency and an opportunity. 2030, that is tomorrow. 15 years. It is as long ahead in time as New Year's Eve 2000. We all remember. It's not far a long time. So we need now to sit down in my country and in all other European countries and beyond with the agriculture and food production sector and industry and consider what it will take to get their emissions down. All too often they say, but we are in the food production sector. We are green. We deal with the earth. Precisely. We will need more of what you do, but we will need it differently. It will involve research, soil management, and improved patterns of production and distribution. But I sense this is a huge opportunity, but we are not even close. And it may amount to a win-win across silos in the spirit of EAT. Now, secondly, related to this, and Chris proved why, my country and most other countries have committed to systematically turn the tide of the NCDs. Epidemic, fighting the emerging non-communicable diseases. We have committed to a WHO targets, and we bring that down to the national level. That was the last thing I did as a minister. The Friday before the elections, I presented the strategy. And on Sunday, I lost the elections. Anyway. This is, of course, largely about healthy and sustainable diets, the NCD strategy, about the balance we need to strike between government regulation and industry self-regulation. The best thing is for industry to self-regulate, but it's a power balance here. They will regulate if they see that there's a gun in the drawer of regulation if they don't. And in European countries, we have a dialogue about these issues, and we should pursue it further. To deal with the modern risks to every individual's health in my country, which is no longer poverty as it used to be, but it is precisely sugar, salt, fat, tobacco, alcohol. And then finally, I will lift another area which I believe is of crucial strategic importance and of particular relevance to my country. When I was foreign minister, my prime area of emphasis was the Arctic and the high north. And why is that? It's because Norway is 6 times more ocean than land. So my final point is here to focus on the potential of food production from the oceans, the seascape. We currently produce about our food almost exclusively from land, although the planet is covered 70% by water oceans. Facing a growing world population will require the mobilization not only of the green bioeconomy, but equally of the blue bioeconomy. We harvest only a very, very small part of the top layer of the ecosystem in the ocean. So we need to move further, and for this to advance, we need bold research agendas and at the same time determined effort to protect these oceans from pollution and acidification. In other words, a huge challenge and a huge opportunity. I believe the more we learn about oceans, the more we learn how much we don't know. So we really need to progress. We know that action across these 3 areas is still limited by our inherent silo thinking, but a new resolve is waiting to be set free and explored by the dynamic vision that underpins EAT, the strategic link between nutrition, health, and climate. And I believe taking forward the kind of work that Chris is showing to us here is going to pave the way for the linkages of how politicians can bring this to action. Now, this is not to exempt them from political courage and will, and for the electorate to hold them accountable, but it's going to improve tremendously the ability to move forward, as we have done in a number of other areas in the health sector. In short, that is, I believe, sustainability for a growing world population. Thank you.